Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Captain Marvel, issue number 11. I'm going to tell you 5 things about this comic book after we talk about who made it. So, let's get started. We have got Falling Star, the conclusion. Writer, Kelly Thompson. Artist, Carmen Carnero. Tamara Bonvillain on colors, and VC's Clayton Cowles on letters. Mark Brooks does the cover, and Elizabeth Torque does the variant cover. Special thanks to Vita Ayala, although I'm not sure why. Hopefully she knows why. And Vita is an amazing writer, man. I've been reading some of her stuff. I think she just came out of left field. For me, at least, she did. And I really love her work. So, yes, thank you, Vita. Anyway, let's get talking about number 1 on this list, and that is Flying or Sleeping. Because I didn't understand when I was reading this first page after the title page. I'm sitting there looking, I just see she's looking up and rain is falling on her face and her eyes are closed. And I can't tell, is she flying or is she sleeping? When you realize she's sleeping, you wonder, is she dreaming? Then you turn the page and realize that no, it's a nightmare. And Star is responsible for all this carnage, all this bloodshed. And I say carnage somewhat as an indirect pun, because realistically, it looks like an event carnage kind of bloodbath. I mean, there are people just dead or dying on the streets of New York City. It is bad, dude. And like I said, Star, this is all her fault. And it's a really messed up situation. We're going to find out more about that as we continue with this list. Number 2 on this list. Captain Marvel is a hero without all the answers. I know that a lot of times, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, but, we expect more out of female superheroes. We expect them to meet certain check marks that we don't expect of the male superheroes. You know what? You figure out if that's true or not for you. Just be honest with yourself and then ask yourself why that might be the case. You know what I'm saying? If you're like me and you just look at it as, no, she's just a hero and she's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Then you don't got anything to worry about. But just, if you can't forgive her what happened during Civil War II, but you can forgive Tony Stark for Civil War I and II, bruh, you might be one of the former cases. But with Captain Marvel, she's always been the person who will, much like Rogue, her arch nemesis, will lead with her jaw. That's what she does. She's fearless. You know what I'm saying? Or much like Captain Marvel, Green Lantern, which she was kind of based off of, she's not necessarily fearless, but she can overcome great fear. Captain Marvel does not have all the answers, and that's a running theme for some of the best stories that have ever been written about her, whether it's Kelly Thompson or Kelly Sue DeConnick. It seems like there's a rash of awesome Kelly work going on with Captain Marvel. What's up with that? Anyway, whoever's writing her, when they write her as the hero who leads without even understanding how to win the day, just knows that she's got to keep on getting up every time that she gets knocked down. That's the kind of Captain Marvel story that is so inspiring. You don't always have to just have all the answers. For crying out loud, and it's especially interesting since not anymore, but she was in the military. She was an officer. Officers usually have this problem of thinking that they have all the answers, but, the best laid plans, you want to know how crappy they are, actually put them into action. You know what I'm saying? Plans fall apart. The idea of the military is to adapt and overcome. And that is what, well, at least in the military, the infantry, the army infantry, that's how I've always been taught. Adapt and overcome. And here you got Captain Marvel. Man, that's what she really personifies. She's not gonna be Reed Richards and just figure everything out. She's gonna try and she's gonna fail multiple times, but she's gonna keep on trying. Let's talk about number 3 on this list. Short one, Hazmat. Hazmat is in this book, and as short a time as she's in this book, what is said and what is done, I am very pleased to read this. I feel like Thompson has a great way of writing these characters in a way that you want to see more from them. I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying, I think I'm the first person who mentioned with the Mr. and Mrs. X comic books, I would really like to see Kelly Thompson have an opportunity to write Deadpool. She wrote a great Deadpool in this issue of Mr. and Mrs. X, and a couple other issues later she wrote, Deadpool great also. So I just wonder how she would do it. And all of a sudden, she's given an opportunity. Now, is she going to be given an opportunity to write a Hazmat comic book? Yeah, probably not. But is it a possibility that we could see another team book? Maybe Hazmat joins the West Coast Avengers. Maybe Hazmat joins up with the Monster Hunter. I know her name. Anyway, Maybe we'll see. We'll see. But she has a great way of taking these essentially no-name characters and just giving them a voice and making us want more from them. Although you can just go and, read the Avengers Academy stuff, you'll be fine. Anyway, guys, let's talk about number 4 on this list. This is a very emotional book, all right? I'm not going to sit here and talk about, like, I was crying reading this book because I'm a man and men don't cry. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it works. But I might have gotten, like, a little bit teary-eyed. Dude, Captain Marvel, like, she's that character very much like what they wanted Supergirl to always be, but she could never quite match up with her cousin, right? Superman is that guy that when you do see him, that rare occasion when you do see him get knocked down and he gets back up and he just like him going against Doomsday, something like that, you're like, damn. And you realize, what would a world be like without Superman? Well, I sometimes sit here and I read these comic books because Captain Marvel's not quite as tough as Superman, all right? She gets knocked down a lot more often. And I sometimes think to myself, what a world be like without Captain Marvel? Dude, this is, And I'm going to get into that again in just a moment after let's just knock out number 5 on this list, all right? Heroes. Heroes are made in this comic book. And I'm not just talking about Captain Marvel. I'm not just talking about Hazmat. I'm talking about, like, the fans. This had a very Spider-Man 2-esque moment, right? Spider-Man 2, not Amazing Spider-Man 2, because the hell with that movie, but Spider-Man 2, right? With Doc Ock was in it, and it was Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. Yeah, like that. There was a very, very powerful moment in here where people start just showing up and defending her, and Star doesn't know what to do about it, although she takes the bully route. We're going to get the Dark Captain Marvel pretty soon, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, because I think it's actually going to be Star trying to just impersonate Captain Marvel to show, oh, look, I'm doing evil things and I'm Captain Marvel, because she looks a lot like her. I'm just saying. I guess all blondes look alike. Anyway, you read the back of the book. You read the back couple pages on this book, and you see how they're pointing out that Star is going to wind up being that character that you just can't stand. That's going to kill me a little bit, because you think about what actually happened to Star. Why is she actually bad? Some of you guys know I used to teach women's self-defense for about 18 months or so. And I'm telling you, man, I genuinely cried a lot of times in those, because you find women who were actually victims and they're trying really hard to not be victims anymore, to get out of that victim mentality. But when you've been hurt in ways that you can't imagine being hurt, you can't visualize being hurt that way, these are tough broads. You know what I'm saying? These are some seriously tough broads to be willing to face, just trying to go, just face the day, face the sun again. You know what I'm saying? Wow, man. So that's pretty much what Star had to go through. I mean, when you think about what she went through, dude, for me at least, it's hard to just simply look at it as, oh yeah, well, she had bad things happen to her, but she became bad, so whatever. No, dude, she had bad things happen to her. She's having a real hard time adjusting. She's doing all of this, everything that she's doing this as a defense mechanism, and it breaks my heart. This is not a real character, yet she's more real than most of the villains out there right now. Dude, this breaks my heart to see her resorting to these villainous ways, and I'm really hoping that that Kelly Thompson is going to actually redeem Star at one point, because wow. Let's talk about a couple things. One, Carmen Carnero is leaving the comic book. That's the writer for this comic book, and I'm really sad to see Carmen go, because, dude, this is just gorgeous art, man. I mean, really gets the point across. And there are times when sometimes the art is bad and I just read the comic book, I just read the book, and I'll just glance at the art real quick and I'll move on. And there are times when writing is so bad, I'm just looking at the art can I figure it out without reading this nonsense? But this is a book, man, I can get into both. I can just linger panel by panel, page by page, so I'm really sad to see Carmen go, man. Number 2, I am giving this cover of the week. Dude, there's some beautiful covers out there, and there are often some beautiful covers, and I'll point that out, you know what I'm saying? But as soon as I saw this cover, and I didn't even see this prior to walking into the comic book store. I walk in and I see this cover, I'm like, oh my God. This is gorgeous. Just look at it. Look at it. Like, this represents her so much. She's flying. She used to put on this suit to fly. She don't need this suit anymore, man. She got this one. Oh, this is awesome. Because you know that in reality, she has that very minor molecular manipulation. Go check out Captain Marvel Explained in a Minute on Comic Book University. She can just, bloop, change the costume molecularly into her regular costume. But seeing her rip out of it, it's like, I don't need this to fly anymore. I don't need the plane, the jet to fly anymore. I am my own plane. Man, this comic book cover right here, once again, this is Mark Brooks doing this. No disrespect to Elizabeth Tork, who did the variant cover. I didn't even see the variant cover. I saw this. I fell in love, man. Dude, y'all need to get your hands on this cover. Because this is some serious... Like, dude, Art Germ who? When I see this... And I would love to see some Art Germ doing some Captain Marvel. Maybe he hasn't. It's not on my mind right now. But, dude, this is a gorgeous cover, because it's not just how beautiful it is, it's what's happening in it. Like, this is interpretive art for me. You know what I'm saying? This belongs in the Guggenheim as far as I'm concerned. This is beautiful. Brooks, man, you a superhero yourself for this one. Anyway, I'm out, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.